Metzora. The Torah portion of Metzora starts off with Leviticus 14 verse 2. This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. Leprosy and the ideas and laws surrounding it point towards the name of Messiah, who he is, and what he will do. A passage from the Talmud, the sages discuss the different potential names of the Messiah. Several groups of disciples offer different opinions on what the name of Messiah will be. After the Talmud offers the list of opinions, it presents the ruling of the sages, the most authoritative view. The name of Messiah will be the Leper. Quite the strange name for a Savior King. The exact passage is found in B. Sanhedrin 98b. And the rabbis say, his name is the Leper, as it is said in Isaiah 53 verse 4, surely our sicknesses he himself bore, and our sorrows he carried. Yet we ourselves esteemed him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. This name might be the result of wordplay. The word used for the leper in this passage is the Aramaic word chivera, which is similar to the Hebrew word havura, scourging, an important attribute mentioned in Isaiah 53 verse 5 in the description of the suffering servant. He was pierced through our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The chastening of our well-being fell upon him, and by his scourging, chavura, we are healed. The same root of this word is used to describe the affliction of Israel in Isaiah 1 verse 6, bruises, welts, chavura, and raw wounds, not pressed out or bandaged, nor softened with oil. Because of these connections and a couple others, the sages referred to the suffering Messiah, Messiah son of Yosef, as the leper. The suffering Messiah carries the suffering of the Jewish people like a leper carries his affliction. The sages understood that the Messiah took on the nation's leprosy, so to speak. This same interpretation of the Messiah is found in a story from the Talmud, where Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi asks Elijah the prophet where he might find the Messiah. Elijah answers that the Messiah sits in the gates of Rome. Ben Levi asks, how will I recognize the Messiah when I see him? Elijah replies, he is sitting among the poor lepers. All of them undress their bandages all at once, and retie their bandages all at once. But he unties and reties one bandage at a time, thinking, when the time comes that I am summoned, I must not be delayed. B. Sanhedrin 98a. Why is the Talmud's name for Messiah the leper? The title seems diminutive, contradicting with the Bible's description of the Messiah. It says in Isaiah 52 verse 13, behold, my servant will prosper. He will be high and lifted up and greatly exalted. Adding on to this, the Bible lists the Messiah as the wisest of all men, exalted above Avraham, Isaac, Yaakov, Moshe, and even the angels. It says that his stature will exceed all the great men and kings on earth. There has to be some deeper meaning to the Talmudic name of the Messiah, the leper. A Hasidic passage explores this deeper meaning. It states that the Redeemer is impatiently waiting for the final redemption, waiting for the time where he can purify the nation. But until that happens, he is personally suffering from the pain of Israel's leprous-like affliction, the agony of the ongoing exile. For as long as the exile persists, the Messiah is called the leper. The Messiah is pure and perfect, his affliction referring to the condition of exile. The day of his purification refers to the coming redemption, when the Messiah will be revealed. His leprosy will fall away, and his righteousness will be revealed to all. The final redemption will demonstrate how, in Messiah, Leviticus 14 verse 13 will be fulfilled. The infection, negah, of leprosy has been healed in the leper. The Talmud calls the Messiah the leper, but the full quotation refers to the Messiah as the leper of the house of Rabbi, which could also mean the leper of the house of study. or the leper scholar. It says in B Sanhedrin 98b, and the rabbis say, his name is the leper of the house of Rabbi, as it is said in Isaiah 53 verse 4, surely our sickness he himself bore, and our sorrows he carried. Yet we ourselves esteemed him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. The phrase leper of the house of Rabbi must have been corrupted, as it should have followed the formula presented by the previous opinions in the Talmud's discussion. The original version must have read, the house of Rabbi so-and-so said, his name is the leper, as it is written. At some point in the transmission of Tractate Sanhedrin, the words must have been jumbled, resulting in the Messiah's name being leper of the house of Rabbi. Even so, the jumbled text hints towards Yeshua. The house of Rabbi can be translated as the house of learning, referring to the place where rabbis, sages, and scribes spent all their time. The leper of the house of Rabbi can be interpreted as an allusion to the sages' rejection of Yeshua. Yeshua experienced plenty of rejection from the scribes and Pharisees of his time. In the apostolic era, the sages solidified the rejection of Yeshua and his teachings, ostracizing his Talmudim disciples, treating them like lepers, and banning them from the synagogues and study halls. Yeshua the Messiah is despised and forsaken by the sages. Like one from whom men hide their face, he was despised. The scholars of Israel did not esteem him. Surely he bore their grief, and their sorrows he carried. Yet the men of learning esteemed him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted, as it says in Isaiah 53, verses 3 through 5. In this Torah portion, we learn about the leper and how leprosy illustrates the spiritual sickness of sin. At the same time, it points towards the pain and punishments that befall the nation of Israel for breaking the covenant. The leper represents Israel under international ostracization, driven into exile. The leprous house represents the corruption of the Holy Temple and its ultimate destruction. Because of these connections, Yeshua's emphasis on healing and cleansing lepers takes on a greater significance. Furthermore, Yeshua's contact with lepers strengthens his connection with the latter. Talmudic idea of the leper Messiah, who suffers on behalf of Israel. While you can still speak of leprosy as a literal biblical disease of tza'arat, an archetype for human disease and mortality, it is said that this disease is caused by the spiritual corruption of sin, that is a symbol for God's punishments. It is not that far of a leap to see the leprosy of the Bible as an allusion to the sorrows and sufferings of Israel's exile. In all cases of biblical leprosy, Yeshua offers a solution. As it says in Isaiah 53 verse 5, he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed.